Hi guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host Indira, and today I'm here with Almi Nerurkar. And in this episode, we talk about her experience of having lived and trained in Ethiopia, Spain, France, and having travelled in India, and some thoughts on a more global perspective of running. And before we get into it, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give it a rating and if you can, a review. It really helps the podcast out, and I know a lot more of you are listening and enjoying than you are rating. So please give that a go if you can. And to the person who recently filled out the feedback form, thank you so much. Don't forget there is a feedback form in the link in the bio, so definitely fill that out if you've got any thoughts at all. I welcome any comments. It was super hot when recording this, nearly passed out recording it, so I hope you guys enjoy and let's get into it. So, hi Almi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. And I hear you were racing at the BMC yesterday.
Yeah, I was up in Loughborough, which is fun.
Good race
Nice
for you.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm just enjoying having a track season again, so it was nice.
For sure. Okay, and so can you introduce yourself as a runner?
As a runner. Okay, I've been running probably since I was about 13. I stopped for a while and then did triathlon for a bit, and then I had a year out after school, and then actually it was like kind of the same time as the pandemic, and then that's when I kind of like decided I wanted to do running again. And then since then I've been training as a runner most of the time when I'm not injured.
Yes. Yeah, key one there. And so you've lived abroad a couple of times, and can you walk us through kind of where you've been located?
So I've just got back from Spain. I was in Madrid studying there, which is amazing. And then before that, I guess I was in Ethiopia until I was 10.
Okay, yeah. So before you started running, I guess.
Yeah. I think people were like, oh, so you were like running in Ethiopia at altitude? Like, no, I was not running. I started when I got back. So
yeah. Do you think having lived in Ethiopia did inspire you at all, or?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like just being surrounded by loads of athletes there, and I think running there is really part of the culture. And also my dad like worked with athletes, around athletes. So yeah, I was exposed to running culture in Ethiopia.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really interesting to hear. And so, you sounded very confident there that it definitely did, play a role in you getting into running. And you mentioned how, it is a big part of the running culture. Can you maybe describe some ways in which running kind of features in, typical Ethiopian life?
Well, I guess just the groups there. It's not like, I don't know, two girls at an empty track. There's like group of 50 girls, or up the track, and so there's loads of athletes training. And then I don't know, I guess in normal life there's not that many people who run, but it's getting more like into kind of hobby running. There are more people now doing it just for fun. And
yeah, no, that's really interesting to hear. And you also mentioned, your dad working with athletes. So did his role kind of mean that what sort of role did he do?
So he like set up Great Ethiopian Run, and so that's like very much a fun run, and it's amazing. They have a race every November. That's like their biggest race. They have races through the year, but the one in November is a 10K in the capital, and there's like 50,000 people. The whole city's like locked off, and I've done it. I did it when I went back in 2019. And like 10K took me like over 2 hours.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's because it's much more of a festival, and there's like showers every kilometer, and everyone's dancing, and yeah, it's really fun.
Oh wow, no, that sounds amazing. And I guess that's kind of not something that we've got in the UK in terms of, the way running is. Do you think that there's any kind of scope for, bigger events or ways in which maybe running could kind of get a higher profile in the UK?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the closest is like Colour Run, because it's that they try to make it fun in that way. But then Yeah, like I knew like the on track nights have been happening. I was up at the Highgate for the 10,000s. And that was really good because I think it's important to just make running a bit more fun.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I mean, a lot of listeners are probably thinking, oh, do you know any of, the secrets from, inside Ethiopia? Do you think, I know you were only there till you're 10, but you've clearly been back a few times since. Do you think there is anything in particular that enables Ethiopia to have so much success in in distance running?
Well, I don't know. There's some like so their food's amazing. I love their food. The main thing is this like sour pancake, and then they have like stews on it and stuff. But they also like eating like raw meat. And like
That'll
I
be
don't
the
know.
one.
I've been out with my friends and they're like, come on out, we have some raw meat, and I'm like, oh, I'm okay. But maybe that's their secret. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was your chance to get everyone, rubbing custard in their hair at night or something.
Yeah. Well, raw meat.
Yep, that's the
I
one,
like that.
guys. No,
Yeah.
seriously, don't do that. Okay, and so let's talk about as well, when you did start running, how did you then, get into running from the UK point of view?
Um, so I think when I was about 12, I went so my club that I'm still at now, Brighton Phoenix. I went there on a Wednesday night and with my friend. Um, and I think we were doing like long jump 150s. So yeah, that way.
Yeah, and you're one of those athletes who, were good from the get-go. You had good success in national competitions, from a young age, and you've managed to maintain that quite consistently over the years. What was your experience of, having that success through your junior years?
Yeah, I think when you're younger, it just kind of comes easily, and now it's like, 'cause how did I do that so easily? And now well, no, I'm running faster now than I was when I was 13, luckily. But I think I did definitely struggle then when like mid-teens, having kind of had it quite easy in the first few years, and then I was like training the same and just running so slow. And I think most girls do have that dip, and I think that's when it's so important just to keep it fun and just to get through those years when you're not going to be competing well. And I mean, even in the last few years, um I don't know, I've had a few setbacks and stuff, and I think I've seen just how it's important just to see athletics for more than just like the performing, because you can do so many things with it. Like in Spain, it really helped me travel around to see like different cities and stuff. I mean, I was racing in these different cities, and so obviously without running, I wouldn't be able to do that. But there, I was just trying to enjoy it for other things because I wasn't very fit, so I was trying to enjoy it for more than just, I don't know, winning a race or something. It was like meeting new people, going to new cities, and yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so many great points made there. So, okay, let's unpack these, one by one. So first of all, you mentioned, kind of dipping, and I think that is something that's so common for girls, especially in the teenage years, and it really is a tough time. Can you kind of talk us through maybe any specific setbacks that you experienced then, or how you coped with kind of a plateauing situation?
Well, at first I didn't cope very well. I just quit. No, I that was about like I think probably less than a year, and then that's when I started triathlon. And I think that was quite useful because it was like a different focus. So
Mm.
um, I was rapidly improving my swimming because I basically couldn't swim when I started. So at least there was some progress in one area of my sport. Even if my running wasn't progressing when I was doing triathlon, I could progress in my swimming. And I guess I just learned a lot of new things. Like it was a new environment, the whole triathlon world. And yeah, no, I learned a lot of things on that. And I was training with a club in Eastbourne, and then like British Triathlon organised a few camps that I was able to go on, and like they were really fun. And I think that was a nice like distraction from the running when the running wasn't going very well. And then the last few years with my setbacks, I guess, I mean, I'd rather not have had the setbacks. But
They make you
I think
stronger.
you do learn from every injury. You do
Yeah.
learn stuff from every injury. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's so key there, having more than one string to your bow and allowing yourself to, enjoy it or focus on other things. And so, when you mentioned there having had some injuries in the last few years, what was that like for you?
Well, I guess last year I was quite lucky because I got a stress fracture, and then like 2 weeks later I went to France for because I do French and Spanish at uni. So your like final semester in Leeds, I go to Leeds, final semester of second year, um you go to France, and then third year was in Spain. So that was like it was really just I think good timing because it would have been a bit hard being in Leeds and I was living with athletes for them all to be racing and me to be stuck at home. And so I just enjoyed France. Um, and yeah, and then I've just taken it steady coming back. And yeah, just I'm enjoying racing track season finally.
Yeah, no, definitely. Injuries are tough, but sometimes that break as well can be really beneficial when you do then return. Okay, and so, you also mentioned going back a little bit here that you weren't so fit during your year in Spain. Was there any reason in particular you were in that position going into that year?
Well, so I was just getting back from my stress fracture, so I had like 3 or 4 months off, and then so I was just getting back into it, and I think because I was going slowly, I didn't want to rush anything, so that was the main yeah that
Yeah.
was the main reason.
And do you have any, you've clearly you've come back strong, haven't had any more since then. Have you got any advice for anyone who is currently suffering with a stress fracture in particular?
I'd say, well, I guess to try and learn from it, and I think there's a lot of people are speaking about it a lot more now, like the causes of stress fractures, what to do when you've got a stress fracture. And so I think for me, like I have learned so much, and I'm trying to be more on it with my nutrition now. It's like having stuff for after training and just I don't know. I think um I have learned a lot from my injury last year, and then if you've actually got a stress fracture at the time, well, well, no, no, the cross training. I think if you can find other people to do it with, then that will definitely help. And then just trying to keep a bit of a routine to your training. So, say if you usually go to truck on I don't know, Tuesday, then to go to the gym and do your cross training then instead.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it is so hard to know these things. It really is kind of one of those things where you almost have to go through it sometimes to actually be able to fully investigate and understand the full situation. Okay, and you also mentioned keeping a routine there, but I would imagine that for you having, you've been to Spain, you've been to France by the sounds of it. I know you also took a gap year before going to uni. That must have caused a bit of chaos in any kind of training routine. How's that experience been for you?
Uh, yeah, no, I think my routine does change quite a bit, and I think that's probably like maybe slowed my progression. I say like coming back to fitness, like from last year to this year, maybe I could have done that a bit quicker if I hadn't, if I'd been in a place that I know with a routine that I know and stuff. But then I think you've got to get the balance between like living your life and then doing athletics as well. So, and I had so much fun in Spain, and I think I learned a lot from Spain that's probably helped me. So it's the balance.
Yeah, no, definitely. And is there anything in particular that you found was different or surprised you a lot about the running scene out in Spain?
Well, I really enjoyed doing the cross countries
Yeah.
because so they've got quite a few big cross countries in Spain, um, and they're like international. So there were athletes from all over the world, and I just really enjoyed meeting people from all over. I think because I was also not from Spain, so at the start I didn't really know many people, so I'd have to like just meet the people because you'd often go the day before and all be staying in the same hotel, so you'd have like dinner, and I met some really cool people. So
Oh no, that sounds really cool. And so would you say then that maybe the team aspect is a bit stronger out in Spain?
Yeah, I guess they have team championships for cross country. So there's like an Adidas team, and then the club team's quite strong as well. Um, but it's probably similar to the UK, to be honest, in terms of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And were you running as part of a uni team out there, or did you independently kind of train when you were in Spain?
So, well, until Christmas, yeah, I was like just training by myself, and then I found a group in January, and yeah, and then I was training with them, and that was really fun. And we actually went down to the south for training camp, in Easter, and oh, that was amazing. I mean, I actually had a bit of a niggle, so it was more of a holiday for me, but it was amazing. Like going down south and um trying all the food there, and it like they made it a good fun training camp. It wasn't yeah,
Yeah.
intense.
No, that sounds really cool. And I mean, sometimes the recovery is just as important. Well, it is as important. It's part of the training process itself, and a mental break can be really nice as well. And you mentioned earlier that you traveled to a lot of cities and stuff with that. Was that just part of a local league, or was there any reason in particular?
As I think they were just kind of like the big cross countries around Spain, and I was quite lucky early on. I met this guy who like just I don't know, knew the right people to get me into races. So that I think that helped going to these races. But they were big races. So like most of the good athletes there would be doing literally a cross country every weekend. I didn't quite do that, but yeah, there were lots of cross countries going on over the winter.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. So it's expected then that athletes at a higher level will race more frequently in Spain, would you say?
Yeah, I think there were more cross countries happening, and because there's more prize money, like your club pays you in Spain for racing the cross countries and how you place and stuff. So yeah, it's good money making.
Wow, no, that's quite cool. What's the rates like?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't. Well, I never actually joined a club in Spain. Um, but yeah, nothing like football or cycling, but
Still, no, that's really
yeah.
interesting. And I guess, in the past few years, that Spanish teams have kind of done increasingly well or been in those kind of top teams in the European cross country championships. So, maybe that's part of the reason.
Yeah, no, they've got a good support system there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear. And you mentioned that you were training on your own at the start of that. How was that, having come to a new country, trying to balance all of that stuff, plus, managing your own training?
Yeah, it wasn't the best. I wasn't the best at self-motivation. Yeah, I there was a track quite near to where I lived, so I'd go there I had Wednesdays off, and then so I do like my hard session that day, and then just try and fit it around uni because I actually had quite a lot of uni my first semester, so it was actually quite hard to fit training in even if I'd wanted to. No, I did train, but it wasn't the ideal situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes, in life, other aspects have to take a front seat here and there. So, no, that all makes sense. And I can imagine it would be a lot having come, to a new country.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think sometimes it's good to take that because I think especially after last year with the injury, I was just like, well, my I want to wait for my body until it's completely ready to like go full gas again. So I think it's nice having those distractions every now and then.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so going back again a little bit now, but you mentioned that, you did dabble in triathlon for a while, but ultimately you chose running. What kind of led to that decision?
So I went after school I went to India and Ethiopia. And then when I got back from that, I'd been running a bit, but I hadn't really been cycling or swimming. And then I was just like, oh, to get back in the pool because also I was never the best swimmer. So um and then like 2 weeks later, I came back from Ethiopia to then like to just earn a bit of money here and then go somewhere else. But then like 2 weeks later, the pandemic happened and like lockdown was announced. So I was in Brighton anyway. and I guess it would have been hard to swim. So
Yeah.
it happened for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, running's gone very well. So, clearly a good decision there. Okay. And so you mentioned that you went to Ethiopia and India during, your, I guess, gap year. How was that in terms of, effect on training and running?
So yeah, I went to India in like September, October time. So I kind of just saw it as off season. Um, and yeah, because it would have been quite I think I did like 3 runs in 5 weeks in India. So it was quite hard. It would have been quite hard to like train properly on a thing. Because also I went to Mumbai to see my family, but then I also went traveling with a friend like round. And I think when you're traveling, it's quite hard to like have a routine. Um, and then when I went to Ethiopia, yeah, I did a bit more running there. I didn't like join a group officially, but I'd probably run like 5 times a week there. And then yeah, and then I guess also in Ethiopia because it is more in the culture, so it's not as weird to see a woman running, whereas in India it like it still is. So
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting point you pick up on there because we do tend to see the same countries featuring in athletics, and India isn't particularly one of the countries that's known for its distance running or well, female running at all, really. Would you say that the way of life is potentially one of the biggest factors in that, or do you think there are any other factors that might affect?
oh, I don't know. Actually one so I was racing in where was it? In Barcelona in January, and this was actually an indoor race, and I was sharing a room with a girl from India, and she said she out of her class of 30 girls, um she's the only one that's not married, and she's my age. So like I guess it's more normal to be married, like be married at 22. And she was from quite a like she was from a smaller city, so like I think in the bigger cities it's now more common not to be married that young. But I think yeah, they've just got different priorities.
Yeah, I think that's so true actually, because I know that for quite a lot of Asia anyway, for example, education is considered a lot more important, and you could be the best sports person in the world, but no one's really interested in that, and it's not always pushed, and especially with women in some areas of the world, still there's expectations for other priorities in life. Okay, so we've kind of, flown through all over the place, kind of your general overview, a lot of exciting different kind of angles that we've had a look at. Let's now focus on kind of you as a runner in general. So, can you talk us through what a typical training week would look like for you?
Wow, so it's been a bit all over the place since I've like been in Spain because I like joined a group there. But now that I'm back in Brighton, we do 2 sessions a week. So like usually on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then a longer long run on Sunday. Um, and then well, I guess from my triathlon days, I can still do quite a lot of cross training. So um I probably like swim once or twice a week, and then sometimes go on the bike.
You don't
Yeah.
sound keen.
I don't know, yeah. Well, my brother cycles, so that's his thing. I just leave that to him. So,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sibling kind of rivalry type situation.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And would you say that cross training is something you think benefits your overall running performance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many people who now cross train instead of run. And I think if you can stay injury free, I think that's just the most important thing. I mean, that's what I just want to stay injury free this year. So I want to get through the summer, and because everyone says it's like consistency that will get you fit and stuff. So I think cross training does help with that, just reducing impact. And I guess just it mixes up what you're doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Again, I guess that variation. And, as a sort of ex triathlete, have you got maybe a top swim session and a top cycle session?
Um, yeah, I do the same session every time I go to the pool.
If it works, it
I
works.
mean, I used to do like, well, obviously rarely, because I used to swim like 5 or 6 times a week, so there'd be a lot more. But now when I go to the pool, I do like about a K, 800 to a K warm up, and then I do 400, 300, 200, 100, and like doing like different breathing. So like breathing every 3 breaths, every 5 breaths, every 7 breaths, every 9 breaths.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
The
really
9 breaths is quite
interesting.
hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not like at the other end of the pool almost.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Okay. And how about cycling?
Cycling, to be fair, I haven't done like a cycling session in a while. I just like go on the bike for half an hour or something. But what would it be? I quite like it when it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 times two or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good session. Don't want to be revisiting intervals too long when you're on the bike.
No.
Okay. And so clearly being injury free, would you say that's, your number one priority at the moment or
Yeah, I think um no, I'm hoping that I can run a PB this summer. I'm At the moment I'm focusing on 1500s, and then as my fitness builds, I think I might do some 5Ks and definitely 3K. Um, yeah, and it's my last year under 23, so that means like track, and then I've got cross country as well. So I think yeah, it'd be nice to be fit for Liverpool.
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, gotta make the most of the under 23 age
Yeah, I
group for
know. I don't
sure.
know how I'm gonna be a senior.
Oh, you'll rise the challenge. You'll be ready when it comes.
Yeah.
So, in terms of staying injury free, then, are there any kind of measures or mitigations in particular that you're taking to kind of make sure that you don't get injured again?
I'd say so nutrition, I'm like trying to be on that. And then I try and get a massage like every 2 or 3 weeks. Um, and then I really don't like gym, but I gym, I guess.
Yeah. What for you
Yeah.
is like the biggest off-putter for gym?
I think, well, we do gym after our session, so I'm always really tired after the session, and then like to go to the gym um and do another session. It's like, oh, but yeah, I think I like, and I'm because my calves sometimes are a bit dodgy, so I make sure like calf raises, and some of that you can do sat down, so it's all right.
Yeah, that definitely helps a lot. Okay, and so there you mentioned would that we be referring to your training group at uni?
So I'm at home at the moment in Brighton, and I've got a really good training group here. So yeah, I'm lucky because I've got when I go to Leeds, I've got a really good training group, and when I'm here, I've got a really good training group. So it's nice. And yeah, it's I think just in the last month, just being home, um, has helped. Just I don't know, get into a bit of a routine, and um, yeah.
No, that's really cool. And have you found that your attitude towards training has changed since your year out in Spain, or that you're missing anything about it?
Um, yeah, I think well, being in Spain, I was just like just have fun and enjoy it, and I think that's what I'm trying to do this summer. Because I think it makes the bad days easier when if you if you go for more than just running fast, if you're there to see friends and do other things, then yeah, like the bad days don't seem so bad. And I think most people do have bad days racing, so that's just part of being an athlete. And if you can handle those bad days, then like I mean the good days are amazing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
those ones will take care of themselves. Do you have any kind of go-to habits for, how you personally deal with those bad training days or bad races?
Um I'd say it's more the uh bad races. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
bad training. Oh, I don't really care. But bad races because I guess you've like traveled up um and I guess you like you get a bit nervous before. So then it's like if you've run badly, then it's oh, what was all that for? But I think yeah, just making it. going up with a friend, or like when you're warming up, and maybe just like trying to pull out the positives of that race. Like for me, oh, my first race was awful when I got back from Spain. But then I did try and pull out the positives. I was like, well, like I'm healthy, I'm on the track again. I got to a race, and then since then I have actually improved in my races. So yeah.
Yeah, well, improved quite a lot for sure. 4:21 is not to be
Well,
sneezed at.
if you start low, then it's easy to be like that.
Yeah, okay. And so going back to, you mentioned having a good training group at home, and that's definitely something that, a lot of people, especially girls in the kind of, around 20, that sort of age range, don't often say. So what do you think, or, what's that setup look like down there, and why do you think it works so well?
Well, so there's at the moment there's two other girls, Beth and Holly, and actually for me it's really good because it's like Beth's more longer distance and Holly's shorter distance. So I've got both, like they do different sessions at the moment. In the winter we all train together, so I can kind of choose which one I want to go in, and then so Joel's my coach in Brighton, and yeah, I mean it's really nice. Like Beth's very mature and I don't know, helps, and she's got a good balance with like running, work, social life. And Holly's just recently moved down, so it's nice training with her.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Beth, being someone who you deem as having a good balance. What in particular makes you say that?
No, it's just her vibe. No, well, so she works, I think, 4 days a week or 3 days a week, and so on our hard training, so Tuesdays and Fridays, she has like half days when we do our hard training, and then and then on the other days she fits her runs around work. So, and then I don't know, I guess recently, like, so she got married last year, and then her sister got married, and so yeah, there's like family things going on as well that don't get that, and where athletics doesn't get in the way of.
Oh no, that's really, really great to hear. Always interesting to hear about how people kind of manage that fine line and balance between the two. Okay, and so when you compare, training down in Brighton, you said, you've got a great setup there, but you've also got a great setup in Leeds. What would you say the key differences between the two are, and what does the setup in Leeds look like?
So I guess there's more athletes in Leeds because it's like the combination of uni students and then just like professionals as well. And then well, I guess I've only trained in Leeds like a year because in my first year I didn't really, because it was like COVID, and I wasn't really training. And then second year, that was when I like got into the group, and it was so fun. And like if this is well around uni, and like the coach up there, he's really good at like incorporating you in, and because I mean he's got so many athletes, but you never feel like, oh, what am I going to do? Like he's always got a session for you, and so yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, that's really great to hear, especially about, feeling you get that kind of individualized attention, in some of the bigger
Yeah.
groups. Is there anything in particular that you think enables you to kind of get that, one-on-one or individual attention?
In general, I mean, I think for me, because I like training with other people, it's easy because if like there's like five girls, like why wouldn't we just all train together? So because I think it's not only the coach, but like the group is important. And then individualized. I think in Brighton it's a bit easier because we've got a smaller group. So I don't know, like when we're in the gym, it's easy to like be like, oh, you're doing that squat wrong or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool to hear. And would you say that, your experience, I know it's maybe not been the longest so far given various circumstances, but your experience of training at uni, has that been a big jump up from anything that you were doing previously, or, over the past few years, have you felt some changes?
Um, Maybe I think yeah, over the last few years, like I've gradually increased how much running I'm doing. Um, but yeah, it wasn't like a big change from Brighton to Leeds because when I even when I was in Leeds, I was kind of like I was speaking to both Joel and Hendo, so like both of the coaches.
Okay, yeah. No, that's really good. And, for some athletes who are balancing that, home coach and uni coach sort of relationship situation, how would you say that you manage that whole side of things?
Um, I guess just to be on it with like communication and so if you've done the session, then to report back to both of them, and then if you're tired, because I think also sometimes if you're tired, the like sending a text, you feel a bit, oh, like I'm tired. Like I sometimes if I was tired, I wouldn't send a whole text, but if you're at the track with someone, then you'll be like, oh, I'm feeling a bit tired. So I think it's important having someone like there with you, and then but also then keeping in contact with like Joel back home. Yeah, I just made a group chat with both of them and all good.
No, that's a great advice there. Anyone in that position, definitely something worth considering. And so, just to kind of final few things here. In terms of this track season now, I know you said that, you're just focusing on building through, but I guess you've got time off uni at the moment. So would you say that you're maybe focusing more on training, or have you got any kind of mini goals in mind for this season?
Yeah, I guess it's easier to um be training more and recovering more. I'm having naps every day.
Ooh, look at
Sun's
you.
lifestyle. Yeah. But then so I've got this like part-time internship that I'm doing. So at least like I'm not sleeping all day. Um, and then I don't know, goals. Well, I'm like hopefully I'll go to British Champs. And that's like early July, and then I think after that, that's when I might do some more like longer 3K or 5K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool to hear. And you mentioned there doing a part-time internship. How have you found balancing that? I know you said it is part-time, but still, how have you found balancing kind of working with training?
I think it's because it is quite a nice like distraction, and because like training doesn't take up the whole day, so it's nice to have that. Um, and because I can do it from home, so I can do it out in the sun.
Oh yeah. What's your internship in then?
It's like journalism.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that potentially something you'd want to do in the future?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like my dream job's to be Louis Theroux. Just travel the world and speak to people. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that would be an awesome job. And you've really got some languages under your belt, bit of global travel. So
Yeah.
no, that's really cool. And British Champs, is that something you've run at before?
Yeah, so well, when in 2020, so my last track season, I ran there. I did the 5K though that time, so I'm glad. I like this time I'm doing the 15.
Yeah. Would you say that you prefer the shorter distances then, or I guess not shorter, but shortest end of the spectrum?
I think at the moment, just like my fitness isn't there for the long distances, but I think eventually I will be better. I don't know. Everyone says I'll be better at the longer distance. I don't know.
Do you have faith in that as well?
I think probably because I guess just naturally when I was younger, it'd be like cross countries or that I'd just do well at. And yeah, it's like because I've never really run a fast like 400 or 800.
Mm.
So
Yeah, definitely. Too much lactic going on down there.
yeah.
That's for sure. Okay, and now if we move on to some quick fire or not always so quick fire wrap up questions. I know you said you didn't really like it, but still, what is your favorite strength and conditioning exercise?
Um, I'd say calf. You know, there's that calf machine, and like and then you just literally just you're sat there and you just lift up and down your calves. I like that one.
Oh yeah, to be fair, I mean, every physio does seem to say calf raises for any injury, so they could be an elite exercise. Oh no, awesome. Okay, and random or unexpected fact about yourself?
Well, okay, my real name is actually Ruth on my passport.
Nice. That is random. That is unexpected. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Any reason in particular?
Well, so it's like Ruth Almaz, but I've literally never been called Ruth, so I don't know why my parents even put that on my passport. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not called. I'm glad I'm called Almaz. I'm happy with
It's a
Almaz.
lovely name. I mean, it's good to have additional names because, extra security there. No one's going to know about that when they try and, steal your identity or something. Okay. And which three people would you have at your running dinner table?
Well, Kipchoge, I guess, and then Faith Kipyegon. Get her tips on how to run a world record.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I guess okay, so coach. Um, my coach. he'll be happy if I say that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's clearly been working for you, so can't complain there.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you could choose to live anywhere in the world, where would you choose to live?
Oh, that's a hard one for me. I don't know. I think well, I do really like Spain. The thing is, it's like quite hard to get visas now. So maybe Spain. Yeah, we'll go with Spain. Maybe on the border between, like Girona area. That's actually where my brother lives, but it's that's close to the border to France. So then I could pop into France every now and then.
Oh yeah, that would be handy for the duo language situation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, oh, that's awesome to hear. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing about your journey and your experiences. It's been really interesting to hear. And, I think we'll all be wishing you the very best of luck over the kind of upcoming seasons and season.
Oh, thank you.
So that's it for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. This really helps to get the content out there. I'm new to this, guys, and I want to make this podcast the best possible for you. So go follow Fitter, Faster, Happier on Instagram. That's Fitter, Faster, Happier to leave your questions, comments, and feedback, and for updates and guest requests. All the best for the week ahead, guys. Run happy, live happy, be happy.